Live stream is on.
Good.
Yes.
Welcome to the Committee of the Whole, March 19th. We have a quorum. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now turn over Dr. LaRock.
Thank you, Vice President Cavalieri. So this month, the superintendent's report will be the budget presentation. So Mr. Antoine and I will be giving our full presentation, and the presentation and the line by line will be available through a link in the agenda that will get posted prior to the business meeting on Monday afternoon. The business meeting's on Tuesday. So we encourage everybody to come out for the budget presentation or to watch it on the live stream. And if you aren't able to, it will be recorded up on the district website, and we will also put a notated board budget presentation up on the website as well, on the budget information page. So we are in the budget season now, presenting the budget, and the propositions will also be on the agenda. So moving on from that, the Education Committee consent agenda items. Does any of the trustees have a question on any of the Education Committee items 1 through 11?
Any questions from the board?
March 15th.
Can you allow me a minute?
As a reminder to the board, March 15th was the deadline for teachers to submit their retirement. So we have all of the retirements listed on the agenda.
No questions?
I just have a question. What is the home instruction done? Is that done through the school day or
Yes, that's outside of the school day.
weekends? Or not?
It's usually, usually after school.
Just after school?
Any further
Okay.
questions?
Any questions on the business committee? So the business committee has the propositions for the elementary school, budget, and the high school.
Question concerning any other propositions?
Do you want to talk about that now? Yes, I was gonna talk about it at the end, but we can talk about that now. So, we had discussed last month having a proposition for security to be spent from the capital reserve. So that would require a voter approval. The proposal would be for $700,000 to be spent from the capital reserve. There's currently $3.1 million in the capital reserve for the purposes of security, to include items such as security film on glass, door replacements, camera replacements, license plate readers, and other items that the board and trustee has been discussing over the past really 2 years. We will include a full explanation of that in the budget presentation next week, should the board tonight want to move ahead with that.
All right, so we're
Unless
gonna,
there's a question.
is there any questions?
Yeah, I do. So I don't see the consideration for a proposition to be added to the ballot for the buses. I mean, there's no need to actually reinvent the wheel. Have you or any of your staff inquired from schools that actually already did the conversion from private to district-owned buses, just to expedite the analysis?
So, last time the board met, the direction of the board was, we did not take your proposal, as we didn't feel it was valid, numbers were valid, we asked, and the consensus was to go back and have the school administration start looking into our transportation.
Well, no, my proposition,
No, we
Okay,
decided
hold on,
not.
I'm still talking.
I wasn't finished
what
talking,
I
so
asked-
hold on one second, let me clarify, because I wasn't finished talking. So when you proposed that, we took a consensus, and it wasn't a majority of it, but then I did put out, for the will of the board, for a proper, if the board would like, for the research of the superintendent research, getting our own transportation, and that's what went through.
So,
Yeah,
okay, so anyone, the public is free to check out the video.
They can.
My initial statement was to have the administration consider a proposal to go from private contractors to public. It doesn't have to be specifically how I laid out my proposal. The idea is to go from private contractors providing busing to having the school buy its own buses and operate them. That's the idea, that's the thrust of it. And in the article that was covered in the Herald, the Superintendent Malacca mentioned that she's considering all the factors that go into it. And I'm just asking tonight, instead of reinventing the wheel.
but we do have to reinvent the wheel, because we have to then see what fits our school district, and that's what the business administration, school administration is going to do, as we stated as the role of the board.
But there's a proposition right here you're mentioning about security.
Yes, because that was also discussed, and we are now going to take the will of the board, and that was brought up during.
But I've never, no trustee has ever seen.
We've been working on.
We haven't seen dollar amounts presented to this day.
We haven't.
To this day, we've seen dollar amounts for that proposition.
We've been talking about security. We've been talking for security for probably about 2 years now. So it is 2 years in the making, and we have the opportunity to ask the community to use some capital funds so we can move forward and well advance ourselves in the security that we've been discussing and researching for 2 years. The school buses, although you did get the will of the board to do so, we are going to have the school administration look into it, and if it sees fit and the numbers work out, we will then take the consensus on that.
One last comment. I had suggested to the board and to the administration, replacing doors, adding cameras, adding gates around parking lots for over 2 years, and that was never acted on. Why did we collect all of these needs?
Because,
under
so
a
this
proposition?
is the will of a board, not the board of
No, just
trustees
asking.
Benelli.
No, just asking.
So how it works is, we went through analysis, we hired people to analyze, and there's certain things we can't talk about, as you know. And we've been working on that for 2 years. So now, we are considering using monies that are in reserve and asking the community if we could start using some of that reserve money to move forward with our security instead of, that's what we're.
I mean, the core of my bewilderment is just
So
like-
your proposition of the school bus is a whole separate issue, and your proposal that you inputted with a lot of info was not taken by the board, but your idea was given by the board. We
Yes,
said
yes,
move
yes.
forward. It is gonna take some time, Mr. Benelli. It will not be today or this year.
Of course.
They are working on a budget. We are gonna do this correctly. Just take the time, and we are gonna be fiscally responsible to move forward if that idea does come to fruition.
Yeah,
So now, we are,
Right,
do you
so-
have any other questions?
Well, no, just the core of my bewilderment is just simply this. The separate items I suggested for security over the past 2 years was not moved on, and we.
Your idea is.
Wait, I'm not done.
But
Can I-
let's trust the
we-
Benelli,
we-
because you're
can I
bringing
just
school
finish what I'm saying?
buses
Can I finish what I'm
to.
saying?
Go ahead.
We retired as a board, and the administration acting on it, over $1 million in tax money, and went into reserve funds over the past 2 years. In fact, this year, we put $400,000 in one of the reserves, and we didn't use that money to buy the doors, or buy cameras, or the gates around.
Trustee Benelli, we were researching on what we were doing and what was needed.
Okay.
And now we're at the point where those suggestions, not by you, by professionals, are being told us what we need to do.
Okay, thank
So we don't go by we go by professionals, people who do this for a living. So I'm gonna go around the board and ask for a consensus on if we'd like to put a proposition to go into the capital funds to do security measures. that correct, Dr. LaMarca? Right. Trustee Vicente?
Yes.
Trustee Farrell?
Yes.
Trustee Grosso?
Yes.
Trustee Bonelli?
Yes.
Trustee Capozio?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you.
So for the business committee, there will be 5 propositions then. There will be the proposed budget for the Valley Stream 13 Elementary District. There will be a second for the proposition for spending the capital reserve for $700,000 for security projects. And then the 3 high school propositions, which is their proposed budget, and then 2 of their voter propositions. 1 for the $2,550,000 and 1 for the $1,156,000. Okay. Any questions on the business committee consent items?
Questions? Any further questions? Yes, the silence is no.
Fortunately, you cannot say no to number 2.
That's what I was saying. What are you doing?
We would all like to say no to number 2. But we are very happy for
Yes, we are.
Mrs. Rosemelia,
Well deserved.
very much so. Policy committee, so we have policies for second reading and adoption, which were up for first reading last month. And we had discussed that the sexual harassment policy, the original policy, had been broken up by the New York State School Boards Association into 3 policies: an introductory policy, a policy for students, and a policy for the workplace. So if the board approves the second reading and adopts these, we will be in line with the recommendations from NYSBA, and then the non-discrimination policy and the student bullying and harassment complaint form are just housekeeping to align with the changes that were made in the sexual harassment policies. And then, not to be more confusing, but number 2, we have some of these policies, so we had to have a resolution to kind of adjust the policies that were in existence. So that is the purpose of the second one. And if we have any legal questions around those policies, then we can certainly, any trustee could ask council next week.
So, I have a question.
Yeah,
So these are not for, not for first reading, we're re-adopting it without first reading?
no, this,
We are re-adopting the second.
Second.
right.
So there's no first reading, we're going straight to re-adopt.
This is an amendment because we couldn't rescind the policies without first adopting the new ones. So it was a little complicated with this series.
Okay, I just want to make everybody clarify that
Yes.
that's what's
Yeah, right.
happening. That's,
We have to adopt the policy and then do the amendment so that it's not like we are without the policy. If that makes sense. I know it's very
It's
confusing.
like, what's this to amend it and then accept the new one?
I will double check with council.
Yeah,
This is
so
what-
it-
this is what he had, this is
Oh,
what we
okay.
so
had
that's the
got.
question. Yeah, maybe we can
I'll
get some
double check.
clarification.
I will. But we had asked him and this is what he had
Yeah.
provided for us
Yeah.
from council.
Maybe some clarification.
Absolutely. Okay. Committee of the whole consent.
May I ask for
Yeah.
number 3?
What is, I was just gonna,
Sure.
what is the
So-
service?
The PTA is working with, is working on a beautification project at Howell. And so this company is donating their labor for that beautification project.
Which is the installation of bricks and seating in the seating area around for family and students in front of the building. So at Howell, during this dismissal,
Oh,
the families, they
You mentioned that during the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it during the wall.
So the PTA, so the PTA has been able to move that project forward, and they were able to get a donation of the labor. Yeah. And the number 4 is, was a piano in disrepair in the band room, which was getting renovated in April at Wheeler. So that was something we had to do to ready ourselves for that renovation, which we're very excited about. Can't wait to see the outcome of that project, last year's capital project.
Any further questions?
Okay, thank you, Vice President Cavalieri.
Okay, so I need a motion to go back into executive session for personnel.
So moved?
Moved. Wait a second.
Second.
Moved in second on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are now going into executive session. Thank you.
Thank